Hello. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends. And welcome back to your Matchday Ticket Live. I'm your host, Martin, the Governor Lambert. Terribly sorry for those technical issues there. A big welcome in. But first of all, before we get to Ipswich Town Football Club, the senior team, a huge congratulations to the youth team who won 1-0 today into the last day. Apparently, it was all one-sided. So the future may look rosy. But for now, sadly, Aaron Drennan starts up front. But you all know my opinions on Mr. Drennan. The amount of texts I've received in the last 20 minutes. How you feeling? All right? How you doing? Let's see how it progresses through the afternoon. I have loaded up Football Manager just in case. We do have a couple of iFollow codes to give away. We have 2 iFollow codes to give away. Cruncher will mention one in his video. The other one is courtesy of Matt Stannard. Matt, the GOAT. We do truly thank you ever so much. So here is this week's question.
Hi, everybody. It's iFollow giveaway time. I'd like to say a massive shout out to Joe Green, who has donated an iFollow pass for today's game against MK DONS. First person to answer the following question wins the iFollow pass. Which former Ipswich Town Player of the Year played on loan at MK DONS in the 2012-2013 season? First correct answer wins the pass. Go for it.
Go for it. Let's see what you've got. Let's get some comments while you're doing so. Julian Roll, welcome in, Julian. Today feels like a free hit in a way. Even if it all goes pair, as a fan, you know better days are on the horizon. Yeah, fair point, Eric. Hi all, 3 points is a must today, but not sure we can. If anything, though, maybe we should be looking at a bit more expectation. You know, some sort of run between now and the end of the season gives you a bit of impetus on the pitch, a bit of momentum on the pitch to go into a summer of change with. George Nunn, yes, me and George have been talking over the last 20 minutes. Anyone want to hazard a guess at the formation? He did 2 formations for the show, but either of us are not quite sure which one we'll see on the football pitch. Anthony Steele, welcome in. JT makes a great comment here. He says, resigned himself to not going up this season, so quite happy to see. Here it is. JT, I've been resigned for weeks and we're not getting promoted this season, so a very different team today. I've got no issues with it, but it's not really a different team. And I welcome in our first guest, Adventures of a Tractor Boy. His book's already in the hands of one of our owners. He is, of course, Graeme Brooke. Graeme, welcome in.
Martin.
How are you feeling today? How are you doing?
I agree with that previous comment. It is a bit of a free hit. I think the only reason we're still in with a shout at the playoffs is because everyone else is so bad as well. And I'm just not convinced that we're going to sort of make that late run. I mean, when you look at it on paper, we could do. We've got a lot of easily winnable games, but then Rochdale was an easily winnable game last week. I mean, I think what really concerns me, it might be why Judge is on the bench today. He was one of the players that I was wavering whether he was worth another year at the club. But when he comes out with a comment like it was a great result or words to that effect, it's a difficult place to come to, for Christ's sake. I mean, Rochdale have won 1 game at home all season. They're bottom of the league. If that's the mentality of your first team squad, that they're happy with the point at Rochdale, God.
Yeah, I felt sorry for him today, Graeme, because you are sort of shoved in front of the camera and told to speak, and then you're given questions. You've got to show respect to a fellow professional. They're all professionals, being paid money to play the game. Ollie Rathburn, for example, a player that many Town fans didn't know about until the game on Monday. Paid pro, played to win games as well. I'll bring Jordan in. Jordan, welcome in, my man. How you doing? Our safe style expert.
I wouldn't go that far, mate. But,
your windows are quite safe this afternoon because once again, James Norwood isn't on the team or even on the bench. I don't believe. We're going to bring up I think it's 4-2. I think it's 3-5-2 with Dobra and Drennan up top. Let's start with our striking options, Jordan. How are you feeling now? Because I know you texted me some words just before we went live. How are you feeling?
I think with the takeover, I was buzzing for today's game. I knew it would be a hard one today. I think people are seriously underestimating MK Dons. I think they're a good side. I think they keep the ball very, very well.
Yeah.
As Mick McCarthy once said, they're in a bit of a false position, I believe, anyway. As for the striking options today, well, if there's anything that screams out that we need to spend money on a striker in the summer, I think that's it, innit? Because for me, I know people like Dobra. He hasn't massively done it for me.
Send armbands.
Yeah, and it's just when you got Aaron Drinan up front, I mean, God almighty, fucking hell.
I can't work it out, Jordan. How many times we've seen him this year? We know what he is. We got other players at the football squad. Tyree Simpson, for example, came in back in the last year. He might not be ready, but give the guy some opportunities within the first team.
Ben Falami was better than him. Ben Falami was.
Well, he's been released now, hasn't he? You know. Well, the thing is, you can never definitively say yes or no on that one either way, can you, Graeme? Because you never really saw Ben Falami in the first team the way we've seen Aaron Drinan. I've never seen a player given so many opportunities to fail.
But for Falami, again, he had a few nice touches. I think it was Forest away the other season. He looked quite good when he played, but he's just another of these strikers, a bit like Parrott. He puts a bit of effort in, but he never really looks like he's going to score very often, you know. And you can say that about all of our strikers, probably apart from Norwood, if and when he's fit. You know, if you take the example, you have someone that's been found guilty in court, you put them against a wall, and then you get our forward line, give them all a rifle and get them to aim at that person against the wall. They wouldn't even need a sticking plaster. They'd get out totally unscathed because the bullets would hit the wall or probably go over the wall. They wouldn't hit the target.
Yeah, absolutely. EJ Norris, hello, Guv. Let the new era begin. Yeah, but it's just a bit of a mood killer, isn't it, Graeme? Like we're riding that crest of a wave, and while we're all sort of protecting ourselves and saying this season's over, if you do not look at that football league table and say we could be with a chance still, and with the new takeover, the new consortium, the new funding, you'd imagine, if you can get yourselves out of this division without spending a penny of that, suddenly it opens new doors up the second season. But we're all protecting ourselves and saying, "Oh, it's not going to be our year." But that team just, I heard someone say recently, Graeme, at least Marcus Evans kept us ticking over. Does that squad there to you suggest we've been ticked over or mothballed?
Well, to be honest, when you look, I personally think like last year when it was there was going to be the salary cap. I think Evans, no one doubted what he wanted to do in those first couple of years, get promotion. He funded Keane reasonably well, but then from when McCarthy just missed out, the funding's just gradually gone down to the point. I think he did the decent thing that he didn't let us go into admin. He paid the bills, etc. So never had us in trouble. But he was basically treading water. And when you see like Sunderland's and teams like that and other teams that are just putting that little bit of extra money in, that treading the water, you're gradually sort of sinking down. And I honestly felt if Evans and Lambert had remained, you know, Paul, not you, Martin, if they'd remained, I really felt we'd be like in danger of going out of the Football League altogether within two or three seasons. I just didn't think there was, you know, but I would still say Evans has plucked out an amazing deal personally. And, you know, people have that little bit of a concern, oh, Evans has kept 5% in the club. But don't you think you could flip that on the other side and say, well, look at the confidence he's got in Brett and Mike O'Leary, who just come across fantastically. I mean, you know what I think of Brett Johnson. I think that just sort of sums up that Marcus has got that confidence, that he's got the right people. And I haven't felt more excited for years.
No, it's just we just got to get there. And I'd rather we were sat mid-table, 8-9 points off the playoffs, and it was like, you know, this is fine. We're seeing young players coming in to develop them, to look at them before we maybe shape and mould our squad. But while it's so close, Jordan, and we've got Charlton on the horizon, and Lincoln play Blackpool today, and so somebody's bound to drop points. You would have thought Touchwood there. You can't help but as a football fan, surely, because you all dream of the good times, and with fans slowly returning back to the stadiums. You do it's like playing the national today. I've got a couple of national bets on this afternoon. I've already spent the winnings in my head. You know what I mean? Like it's what we do as humans, isn't it?
Yeah, I think naturally. I mean, I still believe we can make it in. I still believe that. And then you look at that team, and Andre Dazzel's still in it after having 3 stinkers in a row. I mean, he's got to have the safest position in that team, any other than Chambo. I mean, he's had 3 absolute stinkers, hasn't he?
He's had 31.
And they've
He's had 31.
And they've been minging. He has played absolutely rancid the last 3 games, and yet he's straight back in there. And the same with Bish. Yeah, I understand changes need to happen after last week because at the end of the day it weren't good enough at Rochdale, was it?
No.
But I mean, the only one who probably warrants being in that team at this time is Toto Inciala. He's the only one who I would have said today
Terrific
he's
player.
nailed on to start. Because Wolf looks half the player. Chambers is what? Bloody hell. Legs went about 10 years ago. Guion Edwards at right back. Standard booking. I mean, Stephen Ward. Fucking hell. I go through this every single week. Is Ken Lock on the bench? He's not even on the bench, is he?
No, the bench is McGuinness, Sears, Judge, Parrott, Nyden, Hawkins, and Cornet.
Unbelievable. Unfucking believable, mate. How... I don't know if Cook sees something different. He spends every day with them. But it doesn't take a fucking elite football manager to work out that Stephen Ward is 10 years past the fucking bus pass, is it? I mean, fucking hell. It's just...
Graham, Jordan's gone. Look, Jordan's on that. Jordan's like, if this was without COVID, Jordan would be standing in the pub this afternoon. He'd be ordering the Jaegers and saying, "I'll see you at 5:05, lads. You go on."
Chambers and Ward as potentially the attacking fullbacks this afternoon. I mean, Christ, they've got a combined age of about 165. You could imagine like 2 old dears down at Sainsbury's with those 4-wheeler shopping baskets going quicker down each wing than those two. And then they get down there and then they're caught out because the team counterattacks and they're still sort of getting their breath back. It's just staggering.
Do you know what really get me with Stephen Ward? He's got experience upon experience. He should be fucking walking his way through this league, really.
Yeah.
He is walking, but he is walking. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's probably half the problem.
With his experience, he should be able to read players, and then he gets the ball, and I'm thinking, right, nice little, just calm things down. Let's just calm it down. Give it to centre mid. Andre Giselle comes short for it. All of a sudden, it's been lumped long into the other fucking stand.
Stephen Ward, when I heard we'd signed Stephen Ward to start the season, I sort of remembered him maybe from about 60 years ago when he used to play. And you were sort of thinking, when he goes down that wing, gets the crosses in. But, I mean, when he ever does pass across now, it's a bit like filling the Pools coupon in on the coffee table. You can imagine Stephen Ward doing it. He misses the coupon altogether and gets it all across the table.
Yeah, Stephen Ward. I didn't like the signing at the time. He did play well a couple of times early doors. Got the Achilles. Never really looked the same player since. Not his fault. We had
the chance at Garbett, didn't we? We could have signed him. But I mean, that was half the problem. In Division 1, you've got some owners that are maybe going to Primark and buying a few bargains, whereas Marcus Evans can't even stretch to that. He was basically going down the car boot sale and getting whatever junk was left, sort of second-hand Primark.
Yeah. Absolutely. Me and George would like to say we're talking before the show. So George, very kindly, George, big love to yourself. You've done 2 sort of team graphics for us. We think it's going to be a 3-5-2 because the 4-2-3-1 just horrifies me, truly. Just Ward and Chambers as fullbacks, it's just mind-boggling. However, if you look at it from a next year perspective, Toto and Wolfenden playing together could be quite interesting, quite key. Start building some relationships of players that may be here and that you can build around. How important today is it? Because MK Dons do have the 3rd highest possession rating in Europe, which is quite good. Well done, congratulations. How good is it? It hurt me that because Russell Martin's in charge of them a lot. NCR, Wolfenden, Graham. How important is it for them to start to, and more importantly, Wolfenden to get back to?
I had a look at the starting lineup today, and out of that 11, the only 3 I've got a circle round, and I would even consider having here next year in that first team. Enciala, I think for this level, God knows what he'd be like in the Championship, but for this level, assuming we don't go up, I think he's worth a go. As Jordan said, he was the only one worth anything at Rochdale last week. Wolf, I still think there's a player in there. God knows what Lambert and the rest of the sort of trainee coaches have been doing this year, because I seem to coach, potential Premier League player at Sheffield United sort of 6-9 months ago to to what he is now, but I still think he's got that ability. And I would say possibly Downs, if you can get him sort of focused on the job in hand, not losing his rag like at sort of odd opportunities. But I think they are the only three. You look at the bench. I mean, McGuinness, I'd send him back now. What a waste of bloody time he is and money. Needham, I think that's brilliant to see him getting first team time, hopefully. You can't really judge whether he's worth another contract or not. But, I mean, poor guy's been injured for a long time. Judge, up till last weekend and his comments after the Rochdale game, that as far as I'm concerned now, he can go. Sears, I mean, yeah, he was good a few years ago, but not a lot since. Hawkins, I won't even start you on that one, Martin. I mean, he might be good in a pantomime in Jack and the Beanstalk. Probably, yeah. And then Parrott, I mean, again, he runs, he huffs and puffs, he puts a lot of work in, but he's on the bench today. We're 1-0 down or 1-1 with 5 minutes to go. We need to win the match. Which one off the bench there are Sears, Hawkins, Parrott? Are you going to say, I'll put my money on him to come on and get that winning goal?
Shit.
Lost for words now, Martin.
I truly am lost for words. Yeah.
That's our attacking option coming off the bench this afternoon.
I know. I've been saying all season.
I'd be better as a 57-year-old getting in the car from Manchester and driving over.
You probably would be, Graeme. Yeah. I defended Lambert with the stance this squad isn't good. Now, it'd be wrong of me to suddenly think this squad is better. But everyone has to be honest with themselves that told me all season this squad was better than what Lambert got out of them. I am upset today because seeing Aaron Drennan, and I keep coming back to it because this is your most focal point of your team. And you listed those options there. Ollie Hawkins coming in or Sears coming in. The same old. Why are we not seeing the younger players? I don't care if they're ready or not, quite frankly. How much worse can they be than what we've seen for the last 35, 6 games, Jordan? Really?
This says something that I'd rather have Will Keane in that team. He was shite, weren't he? He was absolute shite. I don't know. I mean, Aaron Drennan to me is a National League striker. I watch a lot of National League on BT Sport. He's a bit rough around the edges. He'll stick a foot in. He'll do a lot of running around. He reminds me of Luke Varney. Do you know, if people are at the ground, some people will think, he's had a good game today because he's just done a shitload of pointless running. Do you know what I mean? Never have I thought if he's ever got in on goal, he's burying that in the bottom corner. Do you know what I mean? And he did it for Ayr, is it? Was he at Ayr up in Scotland? Fucking hell, Mickey Mouse could score for them. That's absolute Farmers League up there, isn't it?
Jordan, you said he reminded you of Luke Varney. I think like Drynan reminds me more of Reg Varney.
Not far wrong, mate. He moved like him, didn't he? So,
we should be on the pass out.
We'll all be delighted if he manages to score the win.
Definitely.
That's what we're here for.
I hope I'm wrong.
I don't do every game just to have a win. I don't do every game just to hope they lose. I hope this bunch of players prove me wrong. I've just seen enough now. As I was saying off air to you two guys, Drennan would have to score 10 between now and the end of the season. And I think Graeme said he had to score 10 a day. But for me, you have to score 10 between now and May to even warrant a conversation about next season. He's had his chances. He's had them. Let's have a few comments first of all, Graeme. Christopher Martin, Drennan tried and failed in the National League at Sutton. He was poor there. Bruce Ayre. The young players we have are not good enough. Simple as that. Whilst there's a chance we get playoffs, you won't see them play. But it speaks volumes that they aren't near the team. I think it's more of a manager's lack of flexibility. He can't quite write this season off because fans will criticise if he did, rightly so.
I think he knows them well enough, Martin, because really he's been shoved in a battle for the playoffs. Do you think that he spent all his time watching the youth team at the moment? I wouldn't say so. I know that's his job and stuff like that, but the be all and end all is at the moment is try hit them playoffs, innit? Has he been around long enough to know the likes of Tyrese Simpson? Truly, I'm not sure he has yet. Do you know?
Possibly not. But then you got one. I mean, you've got. I criticise Sears. Has he had as many chances this season up top as Aaron Drennan has? I don't know for sure if he's instead been forced out wide.
How many times has Sears truly played through the middle in the last 5 years?
Yeah.
Where he was signed, where he was successful.
He hasn't. The midfield three, let's bring some positivity and some excitement, because that midfield three is young. It's got the potential to be a future midfield three if they can put it together. We're talking about Aaron Drinnan and players such as that putting it together. But if those three players can find a three-way partnership, Jordan, and can find a balance and something to take forward, it's got to be good for the football club, because all three individually have proven on their day, maybe not Andre, but individually are good players. Right?
Well, of course, yeah. For me, I know a lot of people disagree. Flynn Downs is the best player. I'm not saying footballer. I'm saying player at Ipswich Town Football Club. With what he has, what potential he's still got. Andre Dizelle, we've had this discussion too many times, and Teddy Bishop, for me, just offers what any other League One midfielder offers, But if they do click, and like I said, I hope they do. I hope we're sitting here and I hope we look like mugs at the end of the game. But
I would love nothing more, Graeme.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Just a pure face palm moment when I saw that team today. Other than Downs, it was nice to see Downs back, but it was just a pure face palm moment of fuck's sake,
But more so because obviously we didn't have a press conference yesterday, so we don't know where or why Jackson. We don't know if Norwood's still injured or what's going on. We imagine he is. We don't know certain things, and obviously certain questions couldn't be asked by the press. So we come in today thinking, well, he's got Jackson, and yes, Jackson's attitude has been questioned by a number of fans, Graeme, but he's still got goals at this level. He's still got that ability that you can say, well, he's got, 12,
I think
it was.
I think Jackson's got the pace, but he never ever convinces me that if he was on a one-on-one or going through that he was going, I'd put more times out of 10 that he'd miss it than he'd stick it in the back of the net personally. But, again, going back, I would be more than happy to be proven wrong and look sort of totally out of order today saying what we have about our forward line. But you've just got to look at all those forwards, the ones playing, the ones on the bench, add up the total of goals they've contributed over the last couple of years. And, there's just nothing. So then you move back to relying on our midfield. And particularly if you move to that one up front again, if you're going to play one up front, you need to have midfielders that are going to maraud forward. You need wide players that are going to come forward. Your Hollands, your Walks, those sort of players that would come in and support that lone striker. I mean, what I would put to the table, the question about Bishop, Dizelle and Downs. I don't know if you guys remember, was it about 2-3 seasons ago? We played West Ham pre-season, I think when we were still in the Championship. And we started with those guys as the midfielders. And West Ham pretty much had their first team, sort of certainly midfield out. And they played, I think we lost 2-1 or something in the end, but they played them off the park. And then, we're in our lowest position in the worst possible league you can imagine, because it is a woefully poor league this year. So why aren't these guys stepping up to the table? People keep saying there are youngsters, but they're not that young anymore. They've had match experience for a number of seasons now. They're playing in a poor league. Why aren't they shining above, the Rathbones and the people like that? I'd swap all three of them and bring Rathbone back on the bus last week. Leave those three up in Rochdale. That's a real punishment, isn't it?
You can't argue with that, can you, Jordan?
No, not really. We said it last week. Andre Dizelle now has been round long enough. We all hammered Mick McCarthy, didn't we, when he wouldn't play Andre Dizelle on a Saturday? But really, he was right, weren't he? I mean, I hate to say it because he really got to me come the end, Mick McCarthy, but he know what he's saying. He know a player, doesn't he? And unfortunately, Andre Dizelle just not doing it for me. He should be running games at this level, or at least every other game. Should be dictating the tempo. You watch their midfield today. I haven't even seen their midfield, and I can tell you that their midfield will have and just dominate the ball more than us. Josh,
I haven't seen the MK Dons team. Is Charlie Brown starting for them today?
I can find that. He's on the bench. There we go.
Okay, so
it's 10 cup finals for everybody in this football club, or 9 cup finals for everybody associated. So players like Andre there, Jordan, as you mentioned there, he's not done it, but he's got 9 games now to take something into the new season, whether it's, whatever division it may be, take something from this season into the new season. Now, we're going to finish slightly early today because I believe there's a minute silence. So bold predictions time. Let's get your bold predictions for today's game in the chat. Jordan, you want to kick us off with your bold prediction?
I always go for it. I'm going to go for a 4-1 Town today.
4-1 Town. And who's getting your goals in this 4-1 Town? Because there's bold and then there's stupid.
I'm going for Parrott off the bench, mate. All right. Just because I haven't got an answer for you, really.
78th minute, 0-0. On comes Parrott. All four. Bang, bang, bang.
Oh.
That would be excitement.
There you go, mate.
Richard Pryor's gone 8-0. 2-0 says, I know, oh, fucking hell. We've got Brian Dow.
2-0 Martin, Drinan getting both goals, and we eat egg after the game.
There's nothing more that I'd love than eating egg
So,
after the game. And people were telling me, you're wrong about that, Drinan. But I just don't see it. 3-1 Ashley Bell, Andre to finally net. 3-1 another one. I think it'll be quite a close game today because, as I've said, MK Dons keep the ball. So it's going to be a game of when you win the ball, we need to use it. There needs to be quickness on the ball, 2-touch, pass and move, because you're not potentially going to have the ball for very long. Their possession stats tell you that. So when you've got it, be clinical and know what you're going to do with it. And that's where Dobra and go on.
Can we move the ball forward as well? Because like last week, the amount of times we had the ball and it either went square or back to the centre halves every time. Then they were under pressure and it got lumped. Let's try and move the ball forward. And then when you've passed the ball, move and want the ball back.
Yeah, basic stuff that Mike Brown teaches to his under 12s, under 13s that we've just not been seeing for a number of years. But anyway, we're done. We're back at halftime with us three and hopefully you guys and girls in the chat, and then back at full time for all your match reaction and some Grand National live watch along. I've got some bets involved, so I'll be keeping an eye on that one. But we're back at halftime. Jordan, Graham, thank you so much, and we'll see you all then.
See you later.